They love it on Nebula. They're wild about it on Taurinus. Even on Motus, where they don't like anything at all, they eat it up.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
I got tremendous pleasure from watching Dexter over the years. I don't know why you want to knock it.
Jeff Lutz.
I killed a guy in his sleep last night.
What is he, Bob Huggins? The only thing you offer this show
I hated the voiceovers.
is your 19 impersonations that sound the same.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Strap yourself in and feel.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It is the Bob and Jeff Show, a Friday edition. We're doing some Wichita Treasures with our friend Brent Kimnitz, formerly Wichita State pitching coach for 36 years. Do I have that right?
Well, actually, it was 38, but I think you could make an argument that it was 36. But yeah, I was in that role for 38.
I took a guess. You have no idea how long I was at the Wichita Eagle Beacon. What's your guess on that?
43.
Man, that's pretty good.
What is it?
42 and a half.
43. We round up.
We do round up.
Yeah,
so there you go.
I always joke and say I was 36 and 2. 36 really good years. And 2 not so much.
Yeah, that's kind of how that all goes.
Yes.
Max Fire producing, engineering the show, 869-1240. That's the IHOP hotline. Our final show before Christmas. We're on to a next treasure from you. What do you have?
Well, I'm going to stay on bars. Imagine that. There's a Barleycorn right there on Douglas. You ever go there? Once again, Justin Brown.
I've been to Barleycorns. There's your friend Justin Brown.
Got him in. Mort's. Maury Sheets.
Mort's.
Do you ever go to Mort's?
Not anymore. I used to occasionally.
Like nightly entertainment. It's got a good vibe to it. Like when people come into town and they'll say, "Hey, I'm going to go to the old town area. Where should I go?" Obviously, Pump House gets mentioned, but I always throw in Mort's just because of the vibe. Great location, and it's been there for what, 30 years, probably.
Been there a long time now.
Yeah,
but probably not 30, but maybe.
And the next one I'm going to say, and I think I said this for the first time last year. I went on. We didn't do a show because I had a little knee issue.
You did.
So we've had a couple years, but this is probably my number one place, Lucky's. Are you familiar?
I know where Lucky's is. I'm surprised that's your number one place, but tell me why.
It just has the old, the term that's popping into my head is probably not fair, beer joint. The old pool hall, the old Perry, Oklahoma. You walk in, and it's got a little bar there. It's got pool table. It's got shuffleboard.
Lovely place.
Pinball. Yeah, Lucky's. That's probably my favorite.
All right, let me give you something that's a little bit off the beaten path because this isn't a place that I've necessarily been, but I'm very curious about. It's called the Walker's Jazz Lounge. Pretty new, a new place in Old Town.
Nice.
And I've read about it, and it sounds fun, and it sounds soothing. We love to be soothed.
Soothing's everything.
And that place kind of piqued my interest.
Is it in a new building or was it?
I don't know. I don't know that. I just know it's an old town. I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
No, the place we went to initially, and it was one of the first places. I think Larkspur was the first restaurant bar in Old Town, but one of the first ones that we went to was Heroes.
No longer around.
I don't think so. And the vibe changed a little bit. It wasn't the same.
Well, we loved Heroes.
Oh, they had karaoke, and I went up there a few times. I don't know you're a big karaoke guy. So you went up there, and I think you actually thought you were good, which was comical to me. But
your hearing must be off because I am good.
I went up there, and I did it too, but at least I knew I was making a fool of myself.
Who did Keith Smith ask to sing with him around the piano?
Tom
Cousins. No, he didn't ask Tom to sing. Tom sang, but he wasn't asked.
So he asked you to sing.
You're darn right.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if Keith Smith endorsed you, you had to be legendary.
Thank you.
What was your go-to song?
It was
and please sing it right
Joy
now.
to the World.
sing it right now.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog. What's your favorite song?
And a good friend of mine. Now, my favorite was Never Been to Spain. Three Dog Night was
I
my
do
group.
that so well in karaoke.
Yes, okay. So, Joy to the World.
Yes.
All right, I
He
like
loved
that.
to play that. He loved to sing it, as you know.
Well, he'd immediately when we'd walk in, and I'm sure it annoyed the people that had been there all night, he'd go to our songs immediately. A little trailer for sale or rent. Who sings that?
Roger Miller.
Yes,
Of course.
thank you.
What's next on your list?
Well, one more song he always sang was, I'd say, Keith, do you have any Looking Glass? You know, and they had one song.
Randy.
Yes. And he'd jump into that immediately. Harry's, as long as we're on Douglas.
Might as well
Harry's.
stay on Douglas.
Margaritas and Harry's right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
My friend Doug Baber and I, there was a legendary night. Legendary night. Doug's passed, unfortunately.
Loved him.
We met up at Harry's. We had several drinks. We went right across the parking lot to Margaritas, stormed into the building, went straight to the dance floor, and started dancing with two women.
Yes, that's perfect.
That was in my memory bank forever.
Do you think the people, when you walked in these taverns or drinking establishments, loved you, no mood, or hated you?
Couldn't stand us. But did it matter? No.
Nobody cared.
All right.
What was the band that?
Lotus?
Yes. I was going to say they may still be at Margaritas.
They're not, but
that was the band.
Yeah, Lotus was there for many, 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 many years, and I went there quite frequently back in the days before I met one Debbie Cook.
Yes, and she saved you. You know that. Hey, let's stay on Douglas, okay?
All right.
You want to creep up the street? You've got right on the left, Vora.
Well, I say I've never been there, which is a hole in my resume.
It should be. I'm going to say that they may have the top happy hour in Wichita.
Really?
Like 3 to 6. They have little appetizers. I like the meatballs. Brent Stevens, the one that runs it. He also has a place, Wine Dive, up in Lawrence that I frequent. We could do a Treasures of Lawrence now, since I've had girls up there for a couple years.
Both of your girls go to KU now?
Yeah, Maddie, my youngest, sophomore. Mackenzie graduated from TCU, first-year law student at KU.
Let's while we're doing Treasures, let's throw one out to your ex-wife Kelly.
She's the best.
Because there is no way in hell anybody would have ever thought we'd be talking about a Brent Kimnitz's offspring
In
who
law
was
school.
chasing a law degree.
Yes, Kelly, by the way, best real estate agent ever.
Just tremendous. And the brains of your two daughters.
No question. Total props.
Here's a place. We were just there last night celebrating my son's birthday. And every time we go, we're just amazed. Not only by the food, but by the performance art of the chefs. Kobe's Steakhouse.
Oh, where are they located now?
21st and Tyler. And we had a tremendous chef last night.
What
And
was
they're
his
all
name?
great. I can't remember.
Jeremy Wade is an outstanding chef at Napoli's.
Well, there you go.
He
How do
wasn't
you know
even on
him?
my list. I don't know.
How do you know him?
Well, he was at the Candle. I think he spent some time at Yaya's. Legendary chef here in town.
Well, I'm looking for a chef
Jeremy
to
Wade.
come and speak to our
Napoli's.
group, the Passion Project of League 42. You'll have to give me his contact information.
Well, you got to go in there and order food and belly up and say, ask for Jeremy.
Probably have to do that. Have you? Well,
Well,
I
stay on-
recently went to a place there on campus at Wichita State called the Social Tap.
Oh,
Really enjoyed it.
Luke Luttrell.
Love the outdoor seating right there on the
Yes.
lake.
Yes,
Remember that lake as being a part of the Wichita State Golf.
where you looked for your balls.
A lot of balls in that lake. But what a nice place that is.
100%. Luke Luttrell is one of the owners. And they've really, that whole area, you got Fuzzies right there. They've got some other places. There's Two Hands Corn Dog right in that area. It's
Can't imagine you eating a corn dog.
I did one time just so I could say I've been in there.
Let's
great,
let's get
great
to the
demo.
phones. We've got Mark first, and then we'll get to Bob. Mark, welcome to our Wichita Treasures show with Brent Chemnitz.
Hey, Merry Christmas to both you guys, okay?
Appreciate it.
Hey, the Walker's place is new. It's right across the street from the Pump House on Mosley there, Second and Mosley. And
Okay.
it's called Walker's Jazz Club or something like
Walker's
that.
Jazz Lounge. I just mentioned it. It sounds like it's a great place.
Yeah, I have not been in there. I don't know how long they've been open, so I'm excited to go down there and try that place myself. But I just wanted to give you the location of that because I wasn't sure you knew exactly where that was at.
I did not.
Perfect. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
All right. That's good stuff. We appreciate it. Here's Bob next. Hello, Bob.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is one for Chemnitz. I remember seeing you a couple times over there at East Harry and Woodlawn at Denim and Diamonds. Do you remember that one?
Oh, wow. That was another Keith Smith place.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay.
What was the burger
Yep.
place right there?
Oh, the Annex Lounge.
Yes.
Oh, the
Let
Atlantic.
us-
It's
Mr.
right
Kaler.
west of Unruh Alignment. That was north across the parking lot of that.
Very familiar.
Denim and
Denim and
And what
Diamonds.
years before that, that used to be a real popular club, the Fireside Club. I don't know if you ever was in there.
Oh,
Was it
for
the
sure.
Fireside Club.
And it was
Yeah,
before that. It was on Rock Road.
Oh, okay.
But here's
do you-
the thing I remember about Fireside. It was
Oh,
open
okay.
on. It was not open, but its big nights were Tuesday and Sunday.
Oh,
So if you're a hardcore drinker, you would go there on Tuesday and Sunday.
Not that
well,
you
me and
did.
some
No, I
buddies
just
would
heard
go
that.
in there and dance with the women and buy them. There's always some good-looking women in there.
Well, it seems like
to
it.
me, Bob, it sounds like you and Brent should rekindle whatever friendship you
Yeah.
once had.
I have a lot of guys like you that could call in right now and remind me of places that I used to be or go.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks-
I know the
thanks,
guy
Bob.
singing in there said, "Oh, we have a celebrity in the house, Brent Chemnitz."
That was
Oh.
Keith Smith.
Old Brent
Oh,
Chemnitz.
okay.
We
Yes.
love him. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, one other thing, real quick.
Well,
You got 10 minutes. Go.
Okay, Chemnitz, you're part owner of the Shamrock
Yes.
on West. Well, do you remember? I doubt if you remember this. East of it used to be Vic Clark Hardware Store for years.
I don't go in hardware stores.
no, he has
I
people.
go in a lot of bars.
He has people who do that for him, Bob.
Yeah, I have my people.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, hardware stores aren't going to make our list.
Yes.
No offense to those
What a great
people.
call that was.
Oh,
right
I
there.
loved you. So,
Yeah.
yes, great call.
I planted that call. Hey, while we're on, we talked Bora. Let's go up the street a little bit to Ziggy's.
Love Ziggy.
Doc Fenwick, the Verbeckmos family,
Got
priceless.
4 of those in town.
And the Hideout right there. If you go to Ziggy's on Douglas, that little building that's just right there, it's called the Hideout.
Right.
Outstanding
What do they have?
drinks.
Why'd I ask?
You actually can get food there too.
Here's another place I don't know. I've never been, but I read about it. Again, I did a little research, and this sounds like it'd be a very good place to go. It's called Redbird, and it's a sandwich shop on East Central. Do you know it?
Wow. There was a place, was it Redbirds way back when?
Yeah, Doc Red, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But this is called Redbird.
Not
and
familiar.
6440 East Central, a sandwich shop. There's that new margarita bar on Central. I can't think of the name of it.
Oliver's, maybe?
No, Oliver's is another one that I.
Paul Sullentrop. He's on my treasures list.
Is he? Let's hold off a minute because I want. Is Paul Sullentrop a treasure or just a very good friend?
Both.
What makes him treasurable?
But give me a second here. He grew up in College Hill. He has the history of knowing all of these places. He's a voice of reason, a renowned writer. His office is right around
There it is.
right around for me.
Ding, ding, ding.
But anybody that knows Paul Sulentrop is going to say, no, a treasure. Great man, good guy.
He's a treasure.
Yes, for sure. He gave me a heads up about Oliver's. But here's the deal on Paul. He is like one of the nicest level guys, but he was our beat guy for the baseball team, and you were for a short time.
I was for 4 years.
Well, you were more a columnist.
Well, then I became the columnist.
Yes, but anyway, Paul was our guy, and I'm a little bit more off. I may flip into craziness quicker than him, but I always felt like he liked me because he'd always go hang with us. When I'm telling stories and I'm like kind of on a rant and getting thrown out of games, and Paul was always the voice of reason and still is, but he always liked hanging out.
Well, he likes to observe.
Yes, well, and that's a great trait. So I always thought, I think Paul likes me. Well, we're really good friends.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Paul Sulentrop fan.
Well, let me just point out that while Paul did cover Wichita State for a good period of time, my 4 years of covering the Shockers from 91 to 94, you made 3 consecutive appearances.
91, 2, and 3. I think you were the key.
So keep that in mind.
Well, you were no Loretta McMillan, but you were decent.
She was the standard bearer of Shocker Athletics coverage, for sure. Here's a text from our friend Ted Woodward, who is
Ted.
Here's why he texted. He wants to be mentioned as a Wichita treasure.
He's on my list.
Well, of course he is.
Others receiving votes, Ted Woodward.
Ted's a funny man and is a Wichita treasure, as well as, can I mention some of the people I've worked with?
Well, can we give Ted some love before you pop into everybody else?
Go ahead.
Ted, and I saw Ted a couple weeks ago. He's the Charles Koch Arena PA announcer, and maybe the funniest human being on the planet. If you're having somebody that wants to get roasted, and you truly want it to be a roast and not a love fest,
he's your guy.
Get Ted. Ted is he has no filter, and it is whoever's getting roasted is gonna cringe.
Has he roasted you?
Yes, you were there. You were a guy roasting me too.
Oh, where was that?
At the Marriott. We packed the place for the children's home.
That's right.
86. That was 7 years ago. But Ted, I brought this up a couple weeks ago with Ted. He's going to say anything. So if you don't, if you don't have thick skin, don't invite Ted as a roaster.
Well, but if you don't invite him, it's not a roast.
100%. That's true.
Okay, we need a break. I do want to throw out one before we do go to break, and this is my wife's suggestion, and she's absolutely right. My wife, Debbie, was diagnosed with Parkinson's about 1.5 years ago, and we found a group in town here called Club Parkinson's, and the work they do is absolutely phenomenal, just incredible. So Club Parkinson's, definitely a Wichita treasure. We'll be back with more Wichita Treasures with Brent Chemnitz after this.
All right, we are back. Our annual Wichita Treasure Show. We encountered a little bit of technical difficulty during the break. My internet went down, just like that. Why does that happen?
That happens to me every single time that you know what the standard line for me is when people will help me with technology? That's never, ever happened. And I always say it happens to me every single time.
Well, this is the first time we've lost the internet down here during a show.
Adapting.
Yeah, we're flying solo here right now. Our annual Wichita Treasure Show with Brent Chemnitz. What's next on your list?
Well, I think we can get off. There's one more place on Douglas that is worth mentioning, the Belmont. It's right there, a great place. I mean, you got Ziggy's, we mentioned. You got Dempsey's Burger Pub right there in, Clifton Square.
Right.
And then Belmont. Got a great little patio right there on Douglas. A place that's not a bar, but a great place to eat would be, I ate there 2 days ago, College Hill Deli.
You like College Hill Deli?
Yes. Are you familiar with College?
I've heard of it. I've heard of it, and I've been meaning to go there for some time. I'm told they have excellent fruit options.
They do have that. I go with I think it's called shawarma,
Yeah?
and outstanding. I get a little fettuccine salad with it. Highly recommend. Good stuff. Definitely a treasure.
Now, I will mention several Wichita Treasures that are venues for music, because there was a time in our recent history where it almost felt like we didn't have any venues for music, and now we've got a ton of them. Certainly the Wave downtown, the Cotillion out on West 54,
Saw Clay Walker there.
Hartman Arena, a wonderful venue, the Orpheum. I've seen some tremendous acts at the Orpheum, which is obviously a Wichita treasure.
Glenn Campbell was my favorite.
There you go. I wish we'd have gone to that. My wife will never forgive me.
My mom. That's probably 10 years ago now. But yeah, me and you have had this conversation on the air.
Brent is on venues. Let's continue down that road.
Well, we mentioned Arian, Hartman, Orpheum. We did not mention Kansas Star Casino, obviously in trust. But from a guy that sold Wichita and continues to sell Wichita for 45, 6 years now, I tell people all the time, it is mind-boggling to me how many people just roll through, how many people roll through Wichita as far as concerts, comedians. Adam Sandler was just in town and actually, I guess, played a pickup hoop game at a Coke Arena. So it's mind-boggling to me, the acts that roll through Wichita in our various venues.
And I want to give you an opportunity, because you got a long list of Wichita treasures, and you always bring a long list for this show. So let's just keep going down your list, and I'll comment when necessary.
Well, okay. Now I'm gonna throw back a little bit here, and maybe you can help me understand what's happening here. But I used to love going to the dog track out there in Park City. And my big deal was I'd box 5 dogs on a trifecta. Scott Martin was my partner in crime. And then we'd recruit a third guy that kind of varied. Clint Wirtz was one of them. But boxing 5 dogs, what a blast. But you go to the top level, have dinner, and just a great, great thing. Now, I understand that's kind of getting revamped.
But I'm not casino.
Sure. Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, a tri-level casino. So that's going to be outstanding. Phil Ruffin leading that charge.
Yes, and Phil, the Ruffin family is obviously treasures here. But then you start talking about some other things. Century Tooth. Were you a guy that wanted to level it, or are you a guy that is a huge Century Tooth fan?
I'm a guy that I've always viewed myself as kind of a progressive-minded person. I'm not tied to buildings. If there's an opportunity to improve your city, then you take it. I think Century Two's been fantastic for over half a century. Thank you for your service. Now let's get rid of you and go with something even better. That's where I am. What do you think?
Well, this is a treasure show, and it's kind of a throwback thing and kind of like appreciating our history. So I wouldn't say that I'm real strong one way or the other. I think I lean towards keeping it and making it functional and maybe not. When we built In Trust, that was a huge get for the city. And I remember I was on the radio with you and Hurdle for years, and the first time that it came up, it got shot down, okay? And I'm going to take full credit, me, you, and Hurdle, for getting the vote through. Yes, because I think the second time around they okayed it, and we were big advocates for the downtown arena, which is obviously in trust. So I think it serves the purpose. And Century 2, I think still, it was never going to be that. but I think it still has value, so I'm glad we're keeping it.
We're not necessarily keeping it. I don't think that decision has been made, and I'm going to continue to push the notion that it's time for a state-of-the-art performing arts center here in Wichita. It's time for a state-of-the-art convention center. It's time to improve the east bank of the Arkansas River, which has we've neglected the greatest resource we have. The biggest Wichita treasure that we have is the Arkansas River running right through the middle of Wichita, Kansas.
Totally agree.
And if you look at it and you drive along there, there's been modest improvements, but my goodness, would we please get on with this and quit worrying about the political fallout and ramifications and do what is right for the city and the future of the city, and quit listening to old codgers like you holding on to their love for Century 2.
Well, I will take the love for Century 2 is a little too strong. And I hope Paul Solentrop, my good friend's not listening, because he would be ready to. He's a get rid of a guy. I think. I hope I'm not putting words in his mouth. I think we can keep Century 2 without halting progress. There's plenty of bank. Just revamp it. You know,
Into what?
A daycare. I don't know. If there was one point, it was our team when Ricky Ross played his last basketball in Wichita, and they still had basketball games there. I think Newman probably played there. I don't know what it is. Car shows. Okay, maybe that. I think they have a good little footing for that.
This is the side of Brent Kemnitz that wants everyone to get along.
Yes, everybody be beautiful.
This is mostly an admirable trait of yours. There are times when it becomes less than admirable.
Well, whatever. I think we can all get along. I think there's a meeting point in the middle. Okay, and Century 2, you don't need to level it. There's plenty of space along the river that you can build really cool stuff. I actually walked for whatever thing they had that the Sports Commission does in late August, and I signed up for, I think it was the 5K right along the river, and so I got to kind of absorb and take in, and it's not like it's the first time I had done that, but exploration places there. The Hyatt is great. So there's plenty of
keep building on.
Yes, 100%. So we don't need to make it a Century 2 or do something with the river. It can be both. And right there by the baseball field, the Riverfront Stadium, there's plenty of land there to do cool stuff, and I know that's been on the agenda forever. So there doesn't need to be an either or. We can build cool stuff along the river there. San Antonio, now I get it, Wichita is not San Antonio, but the Riverwalk in San Antonio is priceless.
It's their calling
It's
card.
their signature.
Their identity.
Well, I played baseball at Phillips University in the 70s, and we used to go to San Antonio every year to play St. Mary's and some of the teams down there. And San Antonio was cool. I remember they had George Gervin and all that whole thing. And then I went there 20 years later to a baseball convention that was the first weekend of January, and it was phenomenal. It blew my mind. So let's be a mini version of San Antonio.
Well, I don't disagree with you. And I just got a text. We sound like we're in a cave. Let me tell you something right now. We've had our internet go down. We're doing the best we can. And the last thing I need is you people telling me we sound like we're in a cave. I'm trying to get a show finished to the finish line here.
And it's the first
on our final show before Christmas.
First time he's had internet problems.
It's the first time I've had internet problems during this show. And hopefully it's a last.
Can we go on the record saying I wanted to meet at the studio?
I don't think that's necessarily true. I will say this. Next time we do a treasure show, it will be done from the studio. But my God, I've never had this issue before.
Yeah, it's all good. Let's see if we're any good. Let's see if we have some value here. I have a lot of things on my list here before we.
I can't wait to hear them.
Well, let's
to the bars, did we mention the new stadium? I don't know why they don't do something with that. It's right across the street from Riverfront, and it's a nice little bar. They've been shut down forever. I would think with the stadium, somebody would jump onto that and say they need to.
You know,
I mean,
once
it's kind
we
of
get an idea of the development that will go on around, I would not let that bar interfere with any other kind of development that
keep
they're
it.
looking
Let's
at.
go. It's got a nice feel to
It's
it.
a nice feel to it, but again, if there's something better, then I'm all
Well, this
for that.
doesn't need to be an either or. It can be both.
Again, there's the part of you that let's bring everyone together.
Yeah, I am that guy. Yes, and proudly. I wasn't necessarily that guy as a pitching coach. I was
You
fiery,
want
and
that guy.
I was like, now I'm like, everybody's beautiful. I love everybody. Yeah, it's like, oh, what a great point of view. Well, that was a good point too. Yeah, I'm that guy. You can't make me mad. The stop. You ever go in the stop?
Don't know that place.
Wait.
The stop.
The stop. It's the track, our track coach's favorite hangout. They have karaoke in there. Yes.
Where is it?
John Wise. It's not, I think, Washington, not far from downtown.
Really?
But at the stop.
The stop.
I'm disappointed
It
in you.
used to be something else.
I don't think so. It's been that for like 100 years.
Well, I'm just bewildered by that.
Well, I'm not sure you should be doing the show next year. Jeff, if you're listening, this will be your dad's last time. His internet went down, and now he doesn't know what the stop is. That's disappointing. Snug Harbor.
I do enjoy Snug Harbor.
Yes, it has a nice little. I'm disappointed in myself. I didn't hear about that one. Kind of like you with the stop.
My friend that I mentioned before, Doug Baber, introduced me to Snug Harbor.
Me and him have bellied up there a few times, and it's a nice little feel to it. Over there by the old Southeast High School, I found out about it for the first time about 10 years ago. Waltz. I mean, how can we be an hour and 45 minutes into the show?
Certainly a Wichita Treasure.
And just now
Let me
mentioning
throw
Waltz.
one out. Side Pockets.
That was. Do you guys do anything from there anymore?
Not anymore.
We used to do some shows
We used
from
to
there.
do a show from there occasionally. I got to be very good friends with their previous owners. Was just there Tuesday night of this week for our League 42 Christmas party, and it's a treasure. It's a fantastic place.
100%. Anchor. It's been down for a while.
What are they doing?
Well, I actually met the owner, and I feel bad. I don't remember. It's a female. Don't remember her name, but they hope to be up soon and be better than ever.
Shay.
But I've gone in there for years, but it's been a while because they've been revamping them. Yeah.
Doodah Diner, of course.
Was in there 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
With had breakfast in there, ran into Guy Quinn, who's the Wichita Treasure, the Doodah Diner. I didn't see Fran Frisella or Mark Adams.
No, they love
Those
that
are the
place.
national guys that give it plenty of pub. Nerd and Gertie's. When's the last time you thought of Nerd and Gertie's? 2 years ago when we had the Treasure Show?
Yeah.
You remember Nerd and Gertie's?
I do. Not around anymore, is it?
No, it's
Why are you mentioning it?
because it's a treasure. It happened back in the day, kind of like Pogo's.
Well, Pogo's was phenomenal.
Did you sneak in the back door when there was a $3 entry
No, I
fee?
didn't do those kinds of things. I
Seems
paid
like
the
I
entry
may
fee.
have.
Pogo's and Lettuce were the two hangouts.
Central and what was it, Waco?
Yeah.
Lettuce was phenomenal. Bonsai Barney's. It only was a short time over there in Brittany Center. It was an outdoor bar. It and Brandon's. We're talking mid '80s. Was two of the go-to places that anybody from back in the day will immediately get a smile on their place. Kind of like Pat O'Brien's, right there on Kellogg, and then it'll be in 1980 it became the Cowboy. Yeah.
Went to Bennigan's back in the day, often after Wichita Arrows game. Bennigan's. They're at Rock Road and
Yes. Good for you. Yeah. I had to take a minute and just kind of reflect on that. Forche, that is where Brandon's was, but it still exists. I think it's Forche's Lounge maybe now.
Yeah.
College Inn. Did you ever go to the College
Of
Inn?
course, everybody went to the College Inn. Everybody went to the College Inn.
Yes. Still,
And
it's a fire
bar
station now.
called the Embers.
Right there by
on
Wesley.
Well, I got stories that I could tell.
Go ahead and tell them.
Today.
We're good.
Well, you went there. I don't want to. Listen, I was 20 years old at the time.
Sure.
So you went there and you waited for the nurses to get off their shift.
Oh, yeah.
And they always a lot of nurses came over there.
How many restraining orders did you get?
7.
Okay, well that's not bad. That would have been over and under.
Now you know my wife listens to this show.
Well, I think she knows that I'm kind of senile, so I'm going to throw a few things out there that I don't want to be accountable for. Kirby's.
I've only been to Kirby's probably, I'll say, less than 5 times in my life.
Well,
that's amazing to me.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Certainly is a Wichita treasure.
How about the Petroleum Club?
Well, I've been to the Petroleum Club. I don't have a membership or anything. Like, do you?
No. Remember, do they still have? Well, I know Candle Club, you have to have a membership, but there are no private clubs other than Candle now.
I don't know about the Petroleum Club. I don't even, is it still the same?
Yeah, I was up there a couple of years ago. I forget why, but yes. How about the Penthouse Club?
Don't do things like that.
Well, it's not what you think. The Penthouse Club was at the top of the Holiday Inn.
Oh, I went there several times.
Yes, it was like 25th or 6th floor.
Love that place.
No longer exist. So
that's now a place for residency.
Yes, it's an apartment complex.
It would be fascinating to go up to the top and have a look around. I haven't been in that building in many years.
Well, honestly, I have not either. I think I've told this story. It's kind of self-serving, but I like telling it anyway. 1980. My job for Ted Bradyhoff, I was a GA for baseball, was to sell season football tickets. We're coming off of a 1-10 season, and I'm selling season football tickets for a commission. And we were selling them for like $40, and I think I made like $4 for every one we sold. And I went to every building in downtown Wichita, Sutton Building, Petroleum Club, Petroleum Building, all those buildings, and I'd go to the top floor and work my way down. And if you could get by the secretary, they'd buy. The trick was getting by the secretary. But the reason I say that, I don't even remember what my point was other than to get in. I sold a ton of tickets. I sold like 400 or 500, but it was like you met a who's who in Wichita, and I ran into some of those clubs and venues way back in 1980, and I remember in 1980 the billboards all over Wichita were like, "Who shot JR?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
we were all into that.
Well, at that point I had no idea what that meant.
Really?
But it was good publicity because then I started asking, and they said, "Dude, you got to watch this show. It's called Dallas."
You became hooked on it.
Oh, hooked. Friday night at 8 o'clock, I'd hear that music.
We couldn't do anything until Dallas.
Now, yes, Dallas. At 8 o'clock on Friday.
It's 9 o'clock by the time we're even thinking about it.
Well, yeah, there was a little prime up during that, and then you'd head out somewhere, but that show was priceless. But I'm going to say the summer of 1980 for me was a Wichita treasure just because of the people I met, success selling tickets.
No question.
So, good time.
One place, not a Wichita treasure, Cox Communications.
Are we down again?
My internet's gone down. We have reached the end of our show. We appreciate everybody for listening today. Brent Chemnitz coming in. We love it. We'll do it again next year. We apologize for our technical issues in the last 20 minutes or so. Have a good weekend. We'll be back here on Tuesday, the day after Christmas. Later.